Hello, I'm Teacher Telma and today we're going to talk about the data analysis for your initial survey. So first, let's have an overview of what you're going to expect from this presentation. Number one, we're going to discuss the data that you gathered through your Google Forms. Second, we're going to use the graphics to easily show the results of your survey. And number three, you can use Microsoft Excel to analyze the data collected through your printed forms. We are discussing this so that you know what you need to prepare regarding your initial data analysis. Okay, so here's what is expected from you after this presentation. Number one, you're going to prepare the questionnaire in Word format. Number two, you will have to create a graphical representation of your respondents. And number three, to provide a tabular representation of your initial data. You're not going to discuss this in your research proper, but you're going to include this as an appendix to your research project. Now, how are we going to complete this? Okay, so here you have an example of a questionnaire. So aside from the questionnaire which you created in Google Forms, you will have to type your questionnaire in document form so that you can include this again as an appendix to your research. Second, create a graphical representation of your questionnaire. So here you have the demographic profiles of your respondents. This is just an example. Okay, after the demographic profile of your respondents, you now continue with the analysis of its questions. Again, this is appendix number letter B, and you are going to include this as an attachment to your research paper. This is also an example of a manual coding of the questionnaire, which you have asked your respondents to accomplish. Second, what are you going to do with the data that you have collected through Google Forms? Now, you're going to use that as a basis for analyzing the information that you gathered from your respondents. Now, how to go about your Google Forms analysis? Number one, go to your Google Forms where you created the questionnaire or your survey. Two, you have to click the responses to see the summary of your Google Forms, and you can always check the distribution of answers. Now, let's try to look at it and be familiarized on how you're going to navigate through your Google Forms. So here you have an example of Google Forms. Okay, so this is a screenshot. Number one, you have to choose the form that you would like to open. You have to look for the questionnaire that you have created. After that, you can see that there are two buttons here, the questions and the responses. On the questions, you can just see all the questions listed in your survey. And here you have also the responses. Okay. Now, when you click the responses, it will direct you to another window. Here you can see summary, questions, and individual. When you click summary, it will give you a statistics of your questions. Okay, so you can already see right away the graphical summary of your questionnaire. On the first graph, you will see the respondents based on their sections. The second one, the column graph, will tell you the answers of the students to question number 1. Now, going to the individual button, you choose the individual button to view the answers of each individual respondent. Okay, so how do you do that? You click the arrow to move from one respondent to another. So here, you can see that the summary is from respondent number 1. Okay. Now, if you would like to view the responses in Excel form or in Google Sheets, all you need to do is to click the green thumbnail of Sheets. Okay. And you will already see the information that you needed to analyze your data. Uh, the names are blurred for the protection of the people who took the quiz. Okay, this is just an example. So here you can see the timestamp, okay, when the respondents answered the question. Okay, but if you are saving on data, you can always save a copy which you can access offline. So what you have to do is go to File. After clicking the file, you choose Download, and when you download, you choose the necessary file extension or file name that you would like to save it. So, in this instance, we're going to use Microsoft Excel. Okay, upon clicking that, it will download the form in Excel format. And you can already use this Excel copy so that you can do whatever it is you do to analyze your data. Again, the names of the respondents are blurred so that we don't have to post their names here. Okay, to make it easy for you, I would suggest that you create, okay, a copy of the worksheet so that every time that you will need to edit something, you have the original copy. You can always go back to the original copy and make necessary uh, edits or revision. Okay, so you can just click the button, you go to form response. Okay, you can rename that. You can also move or copy. In this case, we're going to copy the document. Okay, so if you're renaming, you can just use regional data or whatever it is that you would like to call your worksheets. Okay, so here I renamed it as original, and the copy, the extra copy which I have created, I named it edited. Now, if you can see in the edited version, I already took out the timestamp, okay, and retained the scores, the names of the students, and of course the section and other important information. Okay. If you would like to arrange this data based on their section, because you would like to find out how many respondents from each section took the quiz. So, you go to data and then you click sort. After clicking sort, you can choose which column you would like to sort it from. So in this instance, or in this example, I chose section. So if you would notice, right away, after clicking the selection and clicking and choosing section, the names of the students were arranged based on section. Now, how do we use this in creating charts, graphs, and tables? Well, you can choose the information so that you can create graphs or charts or tables. These are just examples of charts. Now let's define what a chart or a graph is. So we say that it is a device for showing numerical values or relationships in pictorial form. You don't need to read paragraphs or read text. Right away, when you see the picture with labels, you already know the information that you would like to find out. A table, on the other hand, is a set of facts and figures arranged in columns and rows. When we say facts, it refers to text. So unlike charts or graphs, here in table, you can include words or phrases describing the figures that you have arranged in your columns and in your rows. So let's say, for example, this is a table, and here we are showing the ages of the respondents. So if you have many respondents and at the same time you ask for their ages, if there is a very big difference between the smallest and the biggest number, you can always group them together. So in this instance, I group together the respondents whose ages ranges from 16 to 20, another division for 21 to 25, 26 to 30, and 31 to 35. And on the right column, you can see how many respondents are from each age bracket. Now, if you have this information from a table, you can now create a graph or a chart from this given information. So all you have to do is to click insert, and after clicking insert, you can choose chart. After choosing chart, right away, it will flash a Microsoft Excel worksheet, okay, which contains information. Now, because this is not automatic, what you have to do is to replace those information or data with the data that you would like to show in your chart or in your graph. So in this instance, we input the age brackets of the respondents and the corresponding number of respondents. And immediately, you will see that you are already creating a chart. Okay, you can also edit the chart title. Okay, so you highlight the title and then you can always edit the title of the chart that you have created. Okay, if you do not like a particular design of a chart, you can always go to design, okay, and then you choose the necessary design that will show the information that you would like to show to your readers. Okay, so as you would notice here, you easily have a representation, graphical representation of the information that was provided in the table on the top. Okay, so right away you can see a comparison that the respondents whose age ranges from 16 to 20 has the biggest number, and the lowest number goes to respondents who were from ages ranging to 31 to 35. Okay, there's another example of a design of a chart. So you can just explore the different designs and choose what you need for your chart. Okay, another example. In this example, it shows the respondents' gender, okay? And you can clearly see that most of the respondents, especially from age ranging from 16 to 30, most of them are female, okay? So, how do we do the manual coding? Now, doing the manual coding is a lot easier if you prepared your survey or your questionnaire through Google Forms. Earlier, we said that you can save an Excel copy of your responses. Okay. So before you can do this, you will have to have a copy of the responses of each individual respondents or students or persons that you asked to answer your survey. So let's go back to the Excel format of the Google Forms which you have created. Okay, so again, the names of the students were blurred. So these are the information that you needed to code, okay, the responses of the students. Okay, so let's say for example, you would like to arrange, okay, the responses. And how do you code them? Coding in quantitative research is different from coding in qualitative research. In qualitative research, you group together the responses that are similar and then you describe them using words. So you say, a lot of the students were from section loyal. Example, that is descriptive description. But when we say a quantitative description, you will have to come up with a figure and its value. So here, we have several sections. So, in coding, we have to assign a numerical figure. Okay? But it doesn't mean that we are scoring the responses. We are merely assigning a number so that when we process the data using SPSS or Microsoft Excel, it will be easy to sort, analyze, and interpret. So in this instance, if we would like to manually code the sections, we assign them a particular numerical symbol. So in this instance, let's give 1 to creative, optimistic 2, honest 3, loyal 4, rational 5, and 6. So if you would notice, there are several sections, okay, that are indicated in column B. Now, how do you code it? Well, you you assign the numerical value. Okay? So this is already manually coded based on section. So you will see that when you see 3, it means that it is section honest. When you see 4, it means that it is section loyal. When you see 1, that is section creative. When you see 6, that is section smart. And you continue doing that until you are able to code all of the responses. Okay, so let's go to questions. So here, your question number 1 has 4 options. Option number 1 is case study, option number 2 correlational, option number 3 experimental, and option number 4 is quasi-experimental. So we have already assigned the number for that. Okay, so all you need to do is to change the responses into its corresponding numerical equivalent. Okay, so as you can see here, you already have the manual coding of the responses, and that is how you do the manual coding. But may I remind you that when you do this, you have to be very careful so that your data is accurate. It will remain accurate, and when you process it using Excel or SPSS, it will give you accurate and correct data. Okay, so those are the things that you need to prepare regarding your initial data, which you gathered from the survey you asked from your respondents. Okay, let me finish this presentation with telling that sometimes we have to do the difficult things while they are easy and do the great things while they are small. Okay, we have to start early so that work will not pile up and we do not get discouraged because we have so much to do. We do things while they are still small and move up from one step to another step until we finish a difficult task. Again, good day and thank you for listening. I am Teacher Telma, and you can see a PowerPoint presentation posted at slideshare.net, Telma Villaflores. Thank you.